You know what? I'm really happy that the Young Turks doesn't pay me enough that I can buy fancy cheese at Whole Foods, because it turns out that one product, one particular type of cheese, has Listeria. Let's take a look at the video.
Whole Foods Market is recalling a line of cheese after a Listeria contamination killed one person and put several others in the hospital.
Bacteria in Crave Brothers Les Freres product has already killed at least one person.
It was sold in at least 30 states and should be thrown away immediately. Crave Brothers cheese. Be careful.
According to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, 5 people with the same strain of listeriosis have been hospitalized across 4 Midwestern states. Listeriosis is a serious illness caused from ingesting bacteria known as Listeria, which can be found in poorly processed deli meats and unpasteurized milk products. Listeriosis causes gastrointestinal symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and abdominal pain, along with fatigue and muscle aches.
Every time I go to the grocery store, in my mind, I'm thinking, pick your poison, and I'm not talking about alcohol. I'm like, okay, what is going to have a recall this month? And every month, it seems like there's something new. You know, Trader Joe's peanut butter, E. coli in our lettuce, fecal matter in our lettuce. I mean, every month there's something new and something different. And Desi, what the hell is going on? Like, is this just something that's inevitable because there's a breakdown in the supply chain, or is there something that we could be doing with regulations, but we just refuse to do so?
Well, I think that with industrialization comes contamination. It's almost impossible, I think, to produce at this high volume that we have throughout our industrial food system without having some sort of area where infection or other kinds of bacteria can get in. Pathogens have multiple opportunities to go through all of our food supply. But one of the interesting things about this particular recall is that it actually shows that some of the new systems being put into place are actually working. The Centers for Disease Control said that the Minnesota state officials who first identified this outbreak actually did a great job because they were going in advance of the nationwide reporting system. They saw these reports coming up and they went from 2 reports to actually investigating further, and they found this Listeria cluster and were able to identify it before it killed more people. Listeria is a slow-moving infection, and so it can take weeks and weeks and weeks, and many more people can die before it's identified, and they really did a good job with this.
What do you think about the FDA? I mean, there have been multiple stories about how the FDA continues to get defunded. We keep passing deregulation of the food industry. I remember years ago reading a story about how the FDA was allowing the poultry industry to regulate itself and do its own testing of its meat, and I mean, I thought of its chicken, and I thought that was very, very questionable. Is that kind of stuff still happening today, or have we gone through with some steps to mitigate that?
It's both. We have done a few steps. The Food Safety Modernization Act was passed, and it has done quite a big change for the FDA, giving them authority to actually make recalls instead of requesting that manufacturers make recalls. But on the other hand, industry is putting a very huge push on both the USDA and the FDA under what's under their jurisdictions, which are separate. They're doing a huge push, a huge lobbying push to bring in more self-regulation. So every time we have a step forward, we also have 2 steps back from industry pushback on this.
Dave, do you feel like we're doing enough? I mean, do you feel that the food that you're buying is safe and we're just making a big to-do over nothing?
I mean, the fact is, in this case, one person died. Something is always going to get through, one way or another. No system is going to be perfect, and yeah, you can be somewhat conscious of the things that you buy and hope that you're buying from the, even if you were doing farm to table, there's a chance that the egg, between the time it gets to the farm and over to the house, something could happen. You know, you could put it on a plate that had raw chicken on it and something could happen. So nothing is perfect, and when we have this giant system, and Whole Foods is a giant company that gets from many different suppliers and all that, I mean, it's bound to happen every now and again. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth.
Kelly, do you think people are going to care about this story as much as they did about Trader Joe's peanut butter? I mean, it seems like this is a bit of a wealthy people problem. So maybe you'll see more action because all of a sudden this is impacting people that buy expensive cheese, you know, that they have more power than the middle class.
I think there might be a little bit of that, like people going, oh, those people deserve it or something like that. But, you know, I was in Whole Foods the other day and I think, oh, this is the healthy food place. And then I go to their buffet. And I got the mashed potatoes, and there was so much butter in the mashed potatoes. I'm like, this is gonna kill me eating this.
Oh, I love that buffet.
I
love it.
I know, it's fantastic.
One morning I went for a jog, then I did yoga. I'm like, yeah, I'm on a health kick. And then I stopped by the buffet, and this is in the morning. They had like bread pudding for breakfast. I was like, and it had like condensed milk all over it. It was so good.
Really, really good.
Anyway, that was not meant to be an advertisement for Whole Foods, but you're totally right.
I'm not sure it was.
Yeah, I you know, it is. You walk into that place and you're like, you're privileged just to walk in there. You know, it's like you got to have $100 just to walk out of there. I mean, it's
pretty pricey.
They say whole paycheck.
They do. They say whole paycheck
Because it's true, definitely.
Yep.